Nancy Mendoza and the Sad Bird by Fabian Reyes. Once upon a time, there was a strong girl called Nancy Mendoza. She was on the way to see her brother Hernan Reyes when she decided to take a short cut through Binden. It wasn't long before Nancy got lost. She looked around, but all she could see were trees. Nervously, she fell into her bag for her favorite toy, Braid. But Braid was nowhere to be found. Nancy began to panic. She felt sure she had picked Brick. To make matters worse, she was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, she saw a sad bird dressed in a yellow t-shirt disappearing into the streets. How odd, thought Nancy. For the want of anything better to do, she decided to follow the peculiarly dressed bird. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Nancy reached a clearing. In the clearing were two houses, one made from lettuce and one made from pixies. Nancy could feel her tummy rumbling. Looking at the houses did nothing to ease her hunger. "Hello," she called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Nancy looked at the roof of the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's creamy. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat the whole house. But perhaps it would be considered acceptable to needle the old fixture a link of feeding in a time of need. A crackle broke through the air, giving nothing of fright, a witch jumped into the space in front of the houses. He was carrying a cage. In that cage was Brave. Brave, shrieked Nancy. She turned to the witch. "That is my toy!" The witch just surged. "Give Brave back!" cried Nancy. "Not on your toy," said the witch. "At least let Brave out of the cage." Before she could reply, the said bird in the yellow t-shirt rushed in from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. "Hello, Big Bird," said the witch. "Good morning," the bird nodded Brave. "Who is this?" "That is Brave," explained the witch. "Oh, Brave would look lonely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the bird. The witch shook her head. "Brave is staying with me." "And, excuse me," Nancy interrupted, "Brave lives with me, and not in a cage." Big Bird ignored her. "Is there nothing you'll trade?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I'd like to be entertained. I orally hint to anybody who can eat and hold front door." Big Bird looked at the house made from pizzas and said, "No problem. I could eat an entire house made from pizza if I want to." "There is no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat one. Front door, and I'll let you have Brave." Nancy watched, feeling very worried. She didn't want the witch to give Brave would like living with a sad bird, away from her house and all her other toys. Big Bird put on his big and withdrew a knife and a fork from his pocket. I'll eat this whole house," said Big Bird. "Just you watch." Big Bird pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from pizzas. He gulped down, smiling, and went back for more, and more, and more. Eventually, Big Bird started to get bigger, just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls and pizzas, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was very big as around. I don't feel too good," said Big Bird. Suddenly he started to roll. Hit ground so round that he could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried as he rolled off down a slope into the forest. Big Bird never finished eating the front door made from pixies, and Brave remained trapped in the witch cage. "That is," said the witch, "I win. I get to keep Brave." "Not so fast," said Nancy. "There's still one front door to go, the front door of the house made from lettuce, and I haven't had a turn yet." "I don't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game, my rule. You should give her a chance. It's only fair." Fine, said the witch. But you saw what happened to the bird? She won't last long? I'll be right back, said Nancy. What? Said the witch. What is your sign of impatience? I thought you want to break back. Nancy ignored the witch and got her a hefty pile of sticks. She came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully, she broke off a pie of the door of the house made from lettuce and tossed it over the fire. Once it had cooked and looked just a little, she took a bite. She quickly devoured the whole pie. Nancy sat down on a nearby log. "You failed!" cried the witch. "You were supposed to eat the whole door." "I haven't finished," explained Nancy. "I am just waiting for my food to go down." When Nancy's food had digested, she broke off another piece of the door made from lettuce. One more she toasted her food over the fire and waiting for it to cool just a little. She ate it at a leisurely pace, then waiting for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Nancy was down to the final piece of the door made from lettuce. Carefully, she toasted it and allowed it to cool just a little. She finished she finished her final course. Nancy had eaten the entire front door of the house made from lettuce. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must have tricked me," he said. "I don't reward cheating." "I don't think so," said a boy. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing, carrying his axe. "This a little girl won't fair and square. Now hang over brave when I'll chop your brown streak in half." The witch looked horrified. She grabbed the broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Nancy hurried over and grabbed Brake, checking that her favorite too was all right. Fortunately, Brake was unharmed. Nancy thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick and souvenir, and hurried on to meet Hernan. It was starting to get dark. When Nancy got to Nanny's house, her brother threw his arm around her. "I was so worried," cried Hernan. "You are very late." As Nancy described her day, she could tell him that Hernan didn't believe her, so she grabbed a napkin from her pocket. "What is that?" asked Hernan. Nancy, unwrapping a doorknob made from pizza pudding, she said. Hernan almost fell off his chair. The end.